Hi everyone, welcome to Resolutely in Pursuit of God. Today we're going to dive into Cornell Notes. A few people requested that I do a quick tutorial over it. So I did it in two ways. I did it in the traditional Cornell Notes, how you're supposed to take it, and then I did it also like heart diving. So you get a combination of both. Before we dive in, I want to give you some history and some interesting facts about the Cornell Notes. It was created in 1949 by a Dr. Walter Pauk, P-A-U-K. He developed these notes as part of his work at Cornell University to help students improve study skills. Post-World War II, there was a surge in college enrollments due to the GI Bill, and many students lacked effective study habits. So he created this so that they would be able to study and retain information. This system was designed to encourage critical thinking, active engagement, and better retention of lecture material. And it's really nice. It's based off of 4 key components. You have your title, you have what they like to call Q questions, you have your section for main notes and key thoughts, and then you have a summary. So it's really self-explanatory, but it will take a little bit of diligence. Let's dive in. All right, so just to give you a quick little visual of Cornell Notes and the setup, I will be showing you my paper and we will be walking through it. You have a title at the top, you have your Q questions over here on the left, your main notes and key thoughts, and your summary. So this is traditional Cornell style notes. So what I went ahead and did is I printed Cornell's notes. I put it here in my little planner. All right, so we have these notes here. And for traditional Cornell notes, what we are going to do is we are going to just look at the Holy Bible overview, okay? And I'm going to show you how you could take something like this and make it into your Cornell notes. So I may not have room for you guys to see both at the same time. So, well, you know, let's make do with what I have. So studies say that first you take your notes, then you sit with your notes, and then you write Q questions, and then you summarize them, okay? So that's like the standard way of doing Cornell notes. Now for today, I'm going to say that the title is going to be the Bible overview. So now if we look at Cornell's notes and we listen to day 1, Genesis 1 through 3, because that's where I'm starting today, we see right away that the word testament has a meaning. And it means promise. I feel like that's super important to know that the testament means promise. And I know we didn't even dive into the make and when and all the things about the Bible. I just feel like when we're always discussing the Bible, we have the New Testament and the Old Testament, so the Old Promise and the New Promise. And so that's why I started there. That's how my brain operates. It's okay if yours is different, and it's okay if yours looks different. So there are 66 books total in the Bible, and there are 40 authors. It took place between 1500 BC to AD 95. So that's the years it was written. The location is the Middle East, Asia Minor, Turkey, so that's what is now Turkey, and Europe. So all of this here is the Bible overview. So you can have a heading here, because this is more general, right? This is more of a general overview. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull from here. This is all information from here and her video. Is we're gonna look at the Old Testament. This is written in Hebrew and some Aramaic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write what books are in the Old Testament. So we have the Pentateuch, which is the law, and it's the first 5 books. We have history in here. There are 12 books. That's history in the Old Testament. We have poetry. There are 5. We have prophets. There are 17 total. Major, there are 5. Minor are 12. There's a total of 929 chapters. So these are the type of books in the Old Testament. So now we're going to look at the New Testament. That was written in Greek and Aramaic. We have the Gospels, which are the first 4 books of the Bible. And we know that they are, the first 4 books of the New Testament, guys. Sorry about that. We have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Then we have the history, which is Acts. Then we have the epistles. We have 21 of those. And then we have the apocalyptic prophecy. And that is Revelation. There's a total of 260 chapters. Now, this is a very brief overview. We can obviously dig in deeper if we wanted to, but for the case of this video today, I just figured we would do something more simplistic, because it is an adjustment and it takes a lot of time to do Cornell notes, because you have to sit with the information, you have to actively listen, read, and then extract information. Now, I know this looks very similar to what she has right now, and that's totally okay, because I did use her notes and I did use her videos and her research. So I could dig deeper. Let's say I want to dig deeper and I want to make something just about the first 5 books, all about this, like an overview. You can 100% do that on another page. So now you would sit with this, and after class, you would come back and you would write a summary and you would ask some Q questions. So with the Q questions, you can, over here, you can write keywords, questions, main ideas. The main notes or key thoughts go over here to the right. And then down here, a brief summary of the pages. Now, of this page right here. Just the one page, not all of the pages that you've done, just your notes here. Now, you could do one of two things, especially part of Heart Dive. Cornell gives a lot of her notes. So if you go to the website, you could very easily go to Heart Dive, and right here, she has chapter summaries. Now, I'm going to challenge you because this is really, really hard. Read this and then try and come up with a 1 to 2 sentence summary for whatever it is you wrote about. So this is for Genesis 1, Genesis 2, Genesis 3. Well, I'm not doing that. I'm doing the Bible overview. So let's write our summary. So for me, this is what I wrote. The Bible is made up of 66 books spanning from 1500 BC to AD 95. It has 2 testaments. I'm going to put in parentheses promises. And that's it. That's all I'm going to write. I don't want it to be too detailed because that's why I have my notes. So now is when we have to look at our notes and we have to ask questions. So some of the more basic questions could be, what years does the Bible cover? What does the word testament mean? How many testaments make up the Bible? How many books total are in the Bible? And then lastly, what type of books make up the Old Testament? One, two, three, four. And I'm just going to put in parentheses 4, so I know that there are 4 types. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So both have 4. And then we're going to say what type of books make up the New Testament. Okay, so now we have taken our notes, we have a summary, a very short, brief summary, and now we have all these questions. What you can do in your book is you can fold over your page, so all you see is the questions, and then you ask yourself these questions so that you can study and memorize and learn the things on the other side. And that is how you do traditional Cornell notes. Now, I have to print a new paper because my cat's sleeping on it, but I'm going to show you a Heart Divey version of Cornell notes because this is the traditional one, and I made a few little tweaks here for heart dive purposes. So let me just print what I need and I'll continue on with our heart dive Cornell notes. Okay, so we just did traditional Cornell notes. We have a title, cue questions, main notes, key thoughts, and summary. But I'm going to heart dive this up a little bit. And so now we're getting a little bit of an upgrade. So instead of just having just your cue questions to help you comprehend, I added the heart dive questions here. The heart check ones, whatever your dig deeper questions, I added those into this column here. My main notes and my key thoughts stay in the same place because there are a lot of notes to be had. My summary, I gave myself a super small box, so I had no choice but to condense my notes into 1 to 2 sentences, which is really hard for me. And then journaling. So anything that got revealed to you during the day or as you are diving deeper into your heart dive questions or your heart checks, would go down here. So let me show you. I'm still using Kanoi's notes from her video. So this is all from chapter 1 of Genesis. We are not going past that. Chapter 1 barely fits on 1 page. So now I printed this template out. So I just have to draw a line down here. And I'm just going to put in green that this is our journal area. Okay. So at the top where it says title, for now, I'm going to put that it's day 001 and then Genesis. Because this is not Genesis 1, 2, 3, 4. It is only one book. I'm going to just put 1. I know that day 1 is 2 and 3 as well, but for the object of this sheet today, it's only for Genesis 1. That is what we're going to focus on. So first we're going to take our notes. Now, all of my notes are from watching her video and having her notes, present. So first I'm going to give myself like a title because I'm working on building outlines in general. So Genesis overview. So let's just look at the make of Genesis. So we're going to want to know who the author is. We're going to want to know when it was existed. So kind of your WH questions. So the author we know is Moses. He is located in the wilderness of Sinai. It was 15th century BC. Genesis is known as the book of beginnings. It's the book of beginnings. Creation, sin, judgment, race, marriage. It's made up of 2 parts. Part 1 is chapters 1 through 11. That is, and it's all right here at the top of her notes here. Is the prologue, is creation, Adam and Eve, the flood, early nations, and then the Tower of Babel. Part 2 is chapters 12 to the end. And that is about Abram and Sarai. And it is showing us God's plan to bless all nations from them. Okay, so that is just a Genesis overview. So maybe we need to put in our title, overview and day 1 of Genesis. So now we're going to start in chapter 1. And so I'm just going to put chapter 1 here. And we know that it is the creation of the world. So now I'm going to put the order in which the creation happened. I'm not adding detailed notes into this unless it's something that really stood out to me, because I have my notes right here. So this is what I'm working on, shrinking my notes down so that I can really have a better understanding of Genesis chapter 1. But I want a detailed understanding, but also a very basic understanding. So that is what's nice about the Cornell notes. You can go as deep as you want or as light as you want. Because I am a very big note taker, being very, very concise is really hard for me. So that is what I practice for this video today. So we have our days. So day 1, God called light. Now, this was super, super interesting to me. So I'm going to put it off to the side. I'm going to star it. I know I just said that I was taking like very simplistic notes, but for me, I don't know why this resonated so much with me this time, but it did. So I have to write it down. So the earth was, I hope you guys have been able to see all that. This lighting is terrible today. Yeah, this is why you're over here. Hold, please. All right, let's see how that goes. Hopefully you guys were able to see everything. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And that is literally scripture from here. And It's really small. I gotta move it closer. Sorry, guys. It's Genesis line 2. So we're already in chapter 1. So I'm just gonna put 1, 2, call it a day. So I know that that's where I got it from. And then I'm just gonna box this in because it's relevant to this, but not to my day notes over here. So now we're gonna say what day 2 was, which he created the heaven, the cosmos. This is where God dwells. Kanoi said it's also the atmosphere. Day 3, life, land, plants were created. Day 4, the sun, the moon, stars. Day 5, the birds and sea creatures. Day 6, large animals and man. So for this, I'm going to leave this as my notes for now, okay? I can always add to it if I want to. That's fine. So I'm going to write a summary, and my summary is going to be 2 sentences long. So God created all the things. That's my favorite way of saying like everything. Like he created all the things. There's nothing he didn't create. It's all the things. From an earth without form and void, water, God, and the earth. I feel like it's earth, but not how we know it. Like, so that's why it's in air quotes, existed. So now I have like a very, very short summary about all my notes here. And so now we're going to look at our questions. We're going to ask questions about our notes, and then we're going to look at some of the heart checks that Kanoi included for this. So the first one is, what are the overall themes of Genesis? Now they're right here. These are the overall themes. What are the 2 parts? Of Genesis? Who wrote it? When did they write it? See, so you can ask all these questions to help your memory. So now I'm going to change colors because I like colors, and I want to know that this is a heart check. So I'm going to put a heart, and I'm going to check in it. So one of the questions that she asks is, what areas of your life do the lights need to be turned on? To be. Another one of her heart checks when you look around, can you still see God's word, see God's goodness in the world? And then I only have a few more questions left. What was the order of creation? And then I have an apologetics question that I want to research. So because I want to do this research and I want to dig deeper, I'm going to put a star next to it. What existed before creation? Now I know that this summary answers that, but I also want to see scientifically things. So because I'm a color-oriented person, I'm going to underline that with pink because that is what I use for apologetics. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just what happened. So now we have our title, our notes that we took from Kanoi's notes. We made a very short summary. We have our Q notes. So now we can journal and we can sit here and write, what area of the life do you need lights to be turned on? When you look around, can you still see God's goodness in the world? You have a little spot that's condensed for you to write and journal. And that is how I would use Cornell Notes Heart Dive. So it's my Heart Dive method. But regardless, both are super, super rewarding to do. It will take some time. It took me a while to really dig into this, but that's because I watched all the videos, then looked at the note, took my own notes, and then looked at my notes and then turned them into these notes. So it did take some time to do it that way, but what's great is I have chapter 1 and this, and I could just add this into my planner. I'll just hole punch it and I'll put it in here. And real quick, so I have the day 1 notes. I have all of these, the chapter summary and heart checks with our heartbeats in it. And then I have the study guide in here with our heartbeats bookmarks. And I printed 2 on a page, the heart checks. So I have pretty much all of it, last year and this year's stuff, and that's day 2. So I would put my notes right here. That's where they would go. So if this video really helped you and encouraged you, hit the like button down below, share it with a few friends, and I will see you all for our next note-taking class. Have a blessed day, everyone.